Welcome to CNN News 18 with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. Our top story, the political war over the Pulwama terror attack after the Prime Minister's scathing attack against the opposition on Ekta Divas.
पुलवामा में जो हमारी कामयाबी है, वो इमरान खान की क़यादत में इस कौम की कामयाबी है। पुलवामा हमले में भी अपना राजनीतिक स्वार्थ खोज रहे थे। सत्य स्वीकारा गया है। इन लोगों के असली चेहरों को देश के सामने ला दिया।
Our Pradhan Mantri trusts leaders of Pakistan to this extent. He doesn't trust Indian politicians.
Pakistan may own or disown certain acts relating to us. We give absolutely no credibility. The official report from NIA, should have been placed before the parliament.
Politics over the Pulwama attack has been reignited and continues to escalate. Prime Minister Modi launched a scathing attack against what he called as the opportunistic opposition. Congress and other opposition leaders termed the Prime Minister's remarks as unfortunate, questioning him about the NIA report. This comes after the sensational admission from Pakistani Minister Fawad Chaudhry, who admitted that his country was responsible for the Pulwama terrorist attack in 2019 that killed 40 CRPF personnel.
देश कभी भूल नहीं सकता कि जब अपने वीर बेटों के जाने से पूरा देश दुखी था, तब कुछ लोग उस दुख में शामिल नहीं थे। वो पुलवामा हमले में भी अपना राजनीतिक स्वार्थ खोज रहे थे। लेकिन पिछले दिनों पड़ोसी देश से जो खबरें आई है, जिस प्रकार वहां की संसद में सत्य स्वीकारा गया है, उसने इन लोगों के असली चेहरों को देश के सामने ला दिया है।
We're joined by Payal Mehta on this story. Payal, good morning. Prime Minister Modi wasn't expected to make a political statement on Ekta Divas, but he reiterated the BJP stand on the Pulwama attack. Was this a clear move with the Bihar elections in mind, now that the same issue is being repeated on the campaign trail?
Yes, that's at least for the that's at least what the opposition parties think. They think that the NDA has no issues to discuss in terms of Bihar or people of Bihar as well, and that's one of the reasons that every time that they are in trouble, they resort to tactics like this. They talk about Pakistan, they talk about China, they bring in the border issues, they bring in the opposition politics on Jawans, etc. So that's exactly what the opposition parties are saying. But the Prime Minister over there, using the platform of the Ekta Divas, the Ekta Divas that he was in fact part of in terms of celebration Kevadia in Gujarat, and that is where he actually hit out at the opposition parties, saying that you've been doing politics over the entire issue. What have you been doing in all these years and months that you've been in power? So that's that attack coming in, and like you rightly mentioned, yesterday Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, also coming out and hitting out at the opposition parties, hitting out at Rahul Gandhi in particular, saying that do you have any shame and wouldn't you want to, at least say sorry? Ravi Shankar Prasad spoke to us. He also said the same. So it seems that, the tone and the tenor of the entire issue is now, the narrative is now changed towards nationalism yet again, and that's something which the BJP actually wears on its sleeves.
Also, Payal, does this also show that given the surgical strikes, the Balakot strike, the issue of nationalism continues to be Prime Minister Modi's political trump card, and the Congress and other opposition parties just continue to stumble into a war of words?
Well, the opposition party should have learnt a lesson every time that it really has happened, because often, many political experts will tell you, Ayushman, that the BJP has laid a trap and the opposition parties actually fall into that trap as well. So we've seen this happen during the Gujarat election when Manishankar Iyer was the main perpetrator. Actually, that led to the fact that he called Prime Minister names and that is where it really hit them hard as well. 2014 election, 2019 election majorly was fought on the nationalism issue as well, saying that these are the opposition parties, these are the parties that have ruled the country for decades together. They don't have any sympathy, they do not have any concern for the Jawans, and they play politics on their blood. So essentially that kind of a narrative has often been created by the BJP as well, but this time around also, even though the opposition is saying that why is the government of the day not speaking about development? Why is Nitish Kumar not speaking about development? Why is the Prime Minister using pitch of China, Pakistan? Why is the Defence Minister using such pitch as well? This is because they probably have hollow promises when it comes to Bihar. That's exactly what the charge of the opposition parties is.
Thank you, Payal, for joining us on the story. Now, let's listen into that political war of words after the Prime Minister's attack.
40 जवान हमारे 2019 में शहीद हुए थे पुलवामा में, कश्मीर में। उसके बाद ये लोग तरह तरह से प्रचार कर रहे थे कि प्रधानमंत्री नहीं, कोई न कोई साजिश रची होगी, कुछ किया होगा क्योंकि चुनाव आया है। इमरान खान की सरकार का ही मंत्री खड़े होकर बोल रहा है कि सीआरपीएफ के 40 जवानों की पुलवामा में, कश्मीर में जो हत्या हुई है, वो हत्या पाकिस्तान के आतंकवादियों ने की। राहुल गांधी से पूछना चाहता हूं, अब क्यों नहीं बोलते? और मैं यकीन आपको दिलाता हूं, दुनिया की कोई ताकत भारत की 1 इंच जमीन पर भी कब्जा नहीं कर सकती। बहनों भाइयों, भरोसा
प्रधानमंत्री, भाजपा के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष आदरणीय नड्डा जी और सारे भाजपाई अपना राजनीतिक संतुलन भी खो चुके हैं और भाषा की मर्यादा भी। हर बार जब भाजपा को हार नजर आती है तो वो पाकिस्तान की शरण में चली जाती है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ही वो पार्टी है जिन्होंने कुख्यात आतंकवादी, जिसने हजारों हिंदुस्तानियों का कत्ल किया और जो पुलवामा हमले का मुख्य आरोपी है एनआईए के मुताबिक, उस मौलाना मसूद अजहर को जेल की सलाखों से छुड़वाया और उसे अफगानिस्तान और पाकिस्तान भिजवाया, और ये हमसे पेट्रियोटिज्म का सर्टिफिकेट मांग रहे हैं।
And I am only with respect asking the question to the Honorable Prime Minister that is it that the people of India are to depend upon what information flows from Pakistan? We totally dismiss whatever Pakistan may claim. Pakistan may own or disown certain acts relating to us to which we give absolutely no credibility. It is our government which must tell us as to what actually has happened. And when NIA has been investigating this matter for over a year, I think an official report from NIA winding up the investigation for after so long a period, should have been placed before the parliament, which unfortunately did not happen.
Pakistan had to come out and clarify that they had a role to play in Pulwama. The Prime Minister has spoken about this, but we've not seen any apology at all from the opposition leaders, including Rahul Gandhi.
This is not the first time when they have become an instrument for the national shame. Whether it is a Rafale deal, when they have stated about the French Prime Minister or then Prime Minister of the France, when the deal was happened, at the time of Balakot also, and a surgical strike also, they have behaved like this. But I think now their approach is that एक बार charge करो और फिर भाग जाओ.
Nationalism is also gaining momentum in battleground Bihar now, with just days to go for the second round of polling. Politics peaks in Bihar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address 4 mega rallies today. Meanwhile, the Election Commission has cleared the BJP's free COVID vaccine promise, saying it did not violate the provisions of the Model Code of Conduct. BJP President JP Nadda also conducted a roadshow in Bihar's Hajipur to ramp up support for the NDA. JP Nadda said the BJP will work under the leadership of Nitish Kumar, even if the Saffron Party gets more seats than the JDU. So Prime Minister Modi will continue his poll blitz in battleground Bihar, and nationalism slowly is gaining momentum in the poll rhetoric, with 15 years of Nitish Kumar versus 15 years of the RJD being the prime narrative of the poll war in battleground Bihar. Now, Tejashwi Yadav, who has promised 10 lakh jobs if he comes to power, that pitch is gaining momentum among the youth of Bihar, who are mobilizing, who are demanding change, and anti-incumbency seems to be a major challenge after 15 years of Nitish Kumar at the helm. Let's listen in to the political war of words that's coming in from battleground Bihar.
campaigning here in Bihar, for your party as well. But what the opposition parties are saying that your party does not have any issue to talk about in terms of Bihar. So whenever you have no issue, you bring in nationalism issue, you bring in Pakistan as an issue, bring in China as an issue.
देखिए पाकिस्तान के अब कोई ये कहे कि पाकिस्तान की संसद में वहाँ के नेता ने जो बयान दिया है वो हमने बिहार को लेकर के किया गया, ये कनेक्ट भी करने की कोशिश करें, मुझे लगता है कि इससे ज़्यादा हास्यास्पद और कुछ नहीं हो सकता। चाहे वो बैंक फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन हो, चाहे सैनिटेशन हो, चाहे ड्रिंकिंग वाटर टू ऑल हो, चाहे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी टू ऑल हो, चाहे क्लीनर फ्यूल टू ऑल हो, ये सब जिस तरह से काम किया, मेरे को लगता है कि हमारे पास कहने को बहुत कुछ है। अब कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो सोने का नाटक कर रहे हैं या समझना नहीं चाहते, अब उनको तो जनता ही उठाएगी।
You're joined by Payal Mehta, who's reporting from Battleground Bihar. Payal is coming to us from Patna. Payal, you're sensing the pulse from ground zero. Are you sensing any shift in the campaign strategies after the first phase?
Well, as far as the campaign strategy for the NDA is concerned, it's constantly evolving as well. You have seen, Ayushman, how they first spoke about Bihar issues and now they've come onto the nationalism issue as well. But the one thing that has actually been consistent has been Tejashwi's stand. Tejashwi's spoken about Bihar and Biharis as well. In fact, this morning also Tejashwi Yadav has put out a tweet saying that the Prime Minister is going to be hitting Battleground Bihar today. He's going to be campaigning today. Hopefully the Prime Minister will stick to Bihar and Bihari issues and not divert the issues elsewhere as well. So that is exactly what has been the sort of political battle line that you've really seen in Bihar as well. It's a mega blitz as far as the campaigning is concerned for the second phase, which closes today at about 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening as well. And you have the Prime Minister leading the charge with 4 mega rallies, that he'll be doing across the state of Bihar as well. So it'll be very important to see what he really says, because that statement that he made yesterday was made from the parade, from the parade that he was actually part of, as part of the Unity Divas celebration as well. But this time around, today when he comes to Bihar, he comes into Bihar as a political leader as well. So it will be important to see what he really says as well. But the one man who's actually feeling extremely nervous right now is Nitish Kumar, because obviously there's massive anti-incumbents against him, and he's literally latching on to the Prime Minister, latching on to the BJP to hope that his fortunes are revived, because people have in fact expressed their displeasure towards the way he's conducted himself as well. And the BJP, although the BJP is leading the campaign as far as the Bihar state is concerned, but the RJD is of the belief that looking at the crowds, the way they are actually coming to the rallies that Tejashwi Yadav has been holding, they have pretty much a lot of confidence in themselves, saying that they can probably better their performance this time around as well.
Also, Payal, is Tejashwi's jobs pitch gaining momentum, which is pushing the NDA to unleash its nationalism card?
Well, Tejashwi has been making a promise of 10 lakh jobs, after which, remember, the NDA, when they released their manifesto, in particular the BJP, they had to speak about something like 90 lakh jobs. Even though they're saying that Tejashwi is trying to fool the people and this is not a possibility, but one must remember that jobs are a very, very emotive and a very, very crucial issue as far as Biharis are concerned. Because you have so many of these, so many people from here migrating to the other states in search of jobs, in search of work opportunities as well. So that obviously is resonating. And even if there has been personal attacks and attacks at the other levels, including nationalist pitch that has been raised by the BJP, one must remember that Tejashwi Yadav has refused to divert his attention from anywhere else except for the issues of Bihar as well. So that's something which the youth is hoping will come true as well. But what really happens on ground, because it's very interesting, Ayushman, that people are telling you that they don't like XYZ person or they don't like XYZ candidate, but they're not willing to tell you under any circumstances right now that who they're going to vote for or which way they're going to vote for as well. So there's probably a possibility that probably a four-member family will also vote for 4 different parties. That is the kind of scenario that exists this time around in Bihar as well. It's very interesting. It's a young Tejashwi Yadav who's about 31 years old, pitted against Nitish Kumar, who's a wily old politician. He's been around for a long, long time, has been associated with number of political setups as well. Came back to the NDA fold in 2017 after soured relations with Lalu's RJD party.
Thank you, Payal, for joining us from Battleground Bihar. Now let's listen in to Tejashwi Yadav, who hit out at Nitish Kumar on the campaign trail. He said that the Chief Minister has lost his credibility.
नीतीश कुमार जी को बीजेपी हो या ये लोगों का जो गठबंधन है, पूरी तरीके से ये लोग कंफ्यूज्ड हैं। हम इस पे कोई टिप्पा टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहते हैं कि भाई बीजेपी के होर्डिंग में, बैनर्स में नीतीश जी का फोटो क्यों नहीं है। इस पे हम कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहते। उनकी जो क्रेडिबिलिटी है वो पूरी तरीके से जो है ख़त्म हो चुकी है। फर्स्ट फेज के बाद एक क्लियर संदेश पूरे बिहार में ही नहीं बल्कि देश में दिया है कि मुद्दे पे भी चुनाव हो सकता है और बीजेपी और नीतीश जी दोबारा सत्ता में नहीं आने जा रहे।
ये साफ माहौल बता रहा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी, जनता दल यूनाइटेड और हम पार्टी और वीआईपी पार्टी की स्पष्ट बहुमत की सरकार 2/3 की बन रही है। इसलिए कोई भी सीट कम आने का सवाल ही नहीं उठता। आप जरा देखिए, लोग आज भी लालू के कुशासन को याद रखते हैं और नीतीश कुमार के सुशासन को याद रखते हैं, और लोग चाहते हैं कि उस लालटेन युग से निकाल करके नीतीश कुमार और नरेंद्र मोदी जी के केंद्र की सरकार का आशीर्वाद ने इसको एलईडी युग में पहुंचा दिया है। इसलिए लोग विकास चाहते हैं।
Shifting focus now, anti-French sentiment peaks across the Muslim world as fringe groups continue to target French President Emmanuel Macron. This comes as the Modi government has said it stands with France in its fight against terror. AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi wrote to External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar condemning the beheadings in France. In the same breath, he also called on the centre to take up the issue regarding the demeaning cartoons on Prophet Muhammad. Meanwhile, Farhan Jubaidi, a former student union leader from Aligarh Muslim University, has raked up another controversy. Jubaidi, while addressing students at AMU, called for the beheading of those who disrespected the Prophet. Remember, the row erupted after Macron defended the public's right to draw the Prophet's caricatures as a matter of free speech. Joined by Pranshu Mishra on this story. Pranshu, good morning. Is Farhan Jubaidi likely to be questioned by the UP police?
Yeah, good morning. Yes, clearly, I mean, the case has been registered yesterday at Civil Lines Police Station. He has been booked for trying to disturb public peace and create animosity between the communities on religious ground. And on the basis of that, the FIR has been registered. Now, the circumstances under which this protest meeting was held on the AMU campus, that is also being looked into. Though the facts which have come to light so far is that this was not a call by the Aligarh Muslim University Student Union, but there were some factions of the students there at the college university who have organized this meet. And as you rightly said, that the person under question, he is a former student leader. He passed out from AMU a couple of years back. He has been booked, and most likely his arrest can take place. So far, he has not been arrested, but the possibility of him being called for questioning and maybe a further arrest, that is clearly on the cards, because this issue has become very sensitive. We have seen smaller protests and, the sensitive statements being made by also the some other community leaders in Devban and in Bareilly and elsewhere. So the government is clearly keeping a very close watch. Social media posts are especially being monitored to ensure that the public peace is not disturbed, and social media platforms are not used for spreading any sort of hatred or carnage against the another religion on the basis of sensitive posts. So clearly the government is watching the matter, and as far as AMU case is concerned, action will be taken.
Also, Pranshu, given the circumstances surrounding the cartoon controversy and the potential law and order situation, is Farhan Jubaidi likely to face any additional charges?
Well, see, so far the FIR has been registered, and the FIR in itself is quite comprehensive, it's quite complete. Additional charges, we are not very sure that how the investigation will move on from here. But the initial round we'll have to wait is that about whether he's called in for questioning, what questions is he asked for. And then on the basis of available evidences, the investigators will decide that whether they want to increase certain relevant sections or the sections which have already been applied are enough.
Thank you, Pranshu, for that update on this story. Let's listen into what Farhan Jubaidi had to say, which sparked this controversy.
और अगर उनके खिलाफ कोई भी गुस्ताखाना हरकत की तो हम उसका तंज विभाग करेंगे, क्योंकि हमारी बुनियाद इस्लाम की बुनियाद कलमे से है, और कलमा है ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। तो जिसके खातिर हम जिंदगी में हैं, जिसकी उम्मत में है, अगर उसके लिए कोई गलत चीज करेगा तो हम बिल्कुल बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे।
Shifting focus from that controversy now, when you leave half a glass of water unfinished, do you ever pause to think about it? Now, Garvita and her friends did exactly that. That was the point of inception of Why Waste, an organization that has become a youth-led movement and a change-making app. That's all we have to pack in on the show. I'll see you at 9 a.m. with the latest news and updates.